So after however many weeks of setting up this 1885 Winchester here, going through the new barrel break-in, setting up the rifle, doing the load development, we're finally ready to see if we can shoot a sub half MOA 5-shot group at 500 yards. So let's go get some targets set up. All right, that should keep us off the cross brace here, hopefully. Okay, as far as the shots, I asked last time for comments on how many attempts do I get at this, and the consensus seemed to be 3. Okay, so 3 attempts for a 5-shot group under half an MOA at 500 yards. But there were a few comments that took it a little further that I thought were pretty good, and I apologize, I don't remember the names right now, except for one, Strutting Eagle. Okay, one of the comments was, shoot as many as I want. 3 attempts, 5 attempts, and then take the average, and whatever the average is, that's what we could say the rifle shoots. Okay, I thought that's pretty good. And then Strutting Eagle commented that unless I was going for an average, if I wanted to be able to say the rifle was a half MOA rifle, then every group should be a half MOA or less. I thought that was a valid point. Okay, so right now, I'm just trying to shoot a group under half an MOA. We'll start with that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire a few shots just to get warmed up here. We've got 3 targets, and we're gonna take 3 cracks at this. And we're also gonna average them and see what we get. And the largest group, whatever the largest one is, that's what we can say we're confident we can shoot at distance. And that doesn't mean I couldn't shoot worse than that, but for the time being. All right, so let's get back to the rifle and get to shooting. I've got a good sight picture today, and I wasn't sure if we were gonna be able to shoot today. It's been breezy all week, but this morning it is absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna start off with 3 shots, and let's see what we get, and that's my warm-up shots, and we'll go from there. All right, let's go check it. Okay, that did not start out well at all. And that's that vertical variation that we saw before. It went away, apparently it's back. One thing though I didn't make sure of, I didn't make sure I had the rest further back on that fore end. All right, so we could have had a little flex going on there, and I don't know the order of the shots. Maybe it's stringing, maybe it's random. It was random before, but it was all vertical variation. But I'm gonna make sure I slide that rest further back, and we're gonna go on and shoot for fire groups and see what we get. I'm gonna try moving this rest further back so that on the stock, on the fore end, we're closer to the receiver and we don't have to worry about flex from this hanger. All right, and that's about as far back as we're gonna be able to come right there. And I don't know that that's where that vertical variation is coming from, but I'm starting to suspect it. And those 3 shots there, I don't know if you noticed, but there was less than, I don't know, probably half an inch variation side to side, left and right. All the variations vertical. Okay, let's try for a 5-shot group now. Let's see what we get. All right, you know how that turned out, but I ain't got a clue, so let's ride down there and see. I meant to mark the first 3 shots, but I'm pretty sure that's them right here. And that would be our 5-shot group. That looks to be a little over 3 inches maybe. All right, so the vertical, whatever that is, it went away right at 3 inches. That's not horrible for our first group. Okay, let's step up to the next target. Okay, that was not a bad group at all, and nothing I'm ashamed of by any means. That was well under 1 MOA, probably under 3/4 of an MOA. It's nothing to sneeze at for 500 yards, but I need to settle in just a little bit more. I think that was more of my shooting than anything, and whatever the vertical is, I'm guessing it is related to that 4-inch. So that'll be something to work on later on, but keeping the rest back, that seems to have solved that, and paying particular attention to it. Okay, let's do another 5-shot group. Let's go to that middle target and let's see if we can't get this under 2.5 inches on the group size. Okay, you tell me. You know what I got down there. Am I going to be happy or disappointed when I get down there? Because all 5 of those shots felt really good. They felt really consistent. Let's go find out. Okay, we're still not quite there. Our vertical looked great. It's horizontal that's getting us. I'm guessing that might be my trigger pull. I'm going to have to really concentrate on that last one. We're 3.5 inches here, so we're still under 3/4 of an MOA on this. All right, I need to bear down on that last one. That sun is starting to beam down on this spot. That's okay, we'll be done in a minute. And thankfully it's not hitting that little rise between us and the targets yet. As soon as that happens, there's gonna be a bad mirage, but that won't be for another 20 minutes or so, so we'll be done by then. And a couple of things I really want to pay attention to on this group here. I noticed as my shots were breaking, my crosshairs were drifting just a little bit, I mean ever so slightly, as the shots were breaking. And part of that's my trigger pull, and part of it's the way I'm setting up on the rifle. I noticed with this 1885 Winchester here, we've got the lever, straight stock, so it has a unique feel to it. Well, I've developed a feel of my middle finger having it right on this lever. Okay, well I noticed it felt like that position was changing just a little bit between shots. It just didn't feel the same as far as my grip angle and stuff. Okay, now there's no one perfect way it has to be, but it's got to be consistent. And that gets into what I was saying about the crosshairs just drifting ever so slightly as the shot was breaking. I think that's part of that inconsistency. So anyway, I've just got to really bear down on these 5 shots here and make sure I'm just in the same position every time and comfortable over each shot, and really watch the crosshairs as that shot breaks. All right, let's see what we've got, and let's see if we can get it under 2.5 inches. Okay, that last one just sounded different, so that's never good when your last shot just sounds different. Okay, that last shot group was not what we were looking for. I've got 2 theories as to why. First, potential cause. I left the ammo sitting out on the bench when we went to check that second 5-shot group. All right, so that means it was sitting out in the sun and it was getting hot. When your ammo gets hot like that, your pressures go up, your velocities go up, you hit higher. And that, by the way, that's exactly why when we develop our loads, we don't get right on that cutting edge of being overpressure, ever. Imagine if I'd have done that and been right on that edge, and all of a sudden I got a huge increase in pressure. All right, and I know a lot of you now, you love those really slow burning ball powders, double base powders that so many of you think's magic because you can load up a 280 and push it really hard and turn it into a 7 mag. Those powders are very sensitive. All right, 1 second you're no pressure signs at all, shooting great. The least little change and all of a sudden you got some major pressure signs. Okay, imagine if I'd have done that today and all of a sudden I got higher pressures from just ammo getting hot while I went and checked the target. Okay, that could have contributed. And I actually set the ammo in the rifle in the shade for a few minutes when I saw, it was just sitting out in the sun. Maybe I didn't leave it in the shade long enough, and I probably didn't. Okay, well then while we were shooting, I had the ammo box sitting in the shade of the rest after I'd had it sitting in the shade, cooling. Our last shot was our lowest shot. Maybe it had cooled off some by then. Anyway, second potential cause, and most likely the biggest factor there, the forend. I was so focused on making the shots and what the crosshairs were doing while the shot was breaking that I just did not even think about that rest and making sure I had it as far back as possible on every single shot, or even the first shot. Okay, so that rest, the forend, that's a problem. That's something I got to fix. All right, I've seen that if I've got the rest far enough back, the rifle shoots great. If the rest is just at least a little bit too far forward, we're talking 3/4 of an inch forward, all of a sudden that vertical stuff comes back. So that's something, I got to relieve some wood there. And the reason we're back here at the shop is this is why I'm not relieving any wood on it right now. I got a project going in the shop. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so for the 1885 right now, it's not a half MOA rifle. And I really liked what Strut and Eagle said about in the comments last time about it. If you say a rifle's a half MOA rifle, it should shoot a half MOA or less every time. I like that. Okay, and the reason I say that is at the end of the day, I set up hunting rifles. Even if it's my target rifle, I set up hunting rifles. That's just what I do. There's no average when you're hunting. There's no, well, let me try this again. It's either you can put the bullet where it needs to go or you can't. All right, right now with this 1885, our worst group was that last one. It measured 6 inches, 36 thousandths of an inch, which puts it at 1.27 MOA. Right now I've got a 1.27 MOA rifle at 500 yards, which is not bad. I'm very pleased with the rifle. Okay, and all of you that have followed this project for the past however many weeks, you know this rifle, it's an amazingly accurate rifle and has serious potential. But right now though, this is where we're at. All right, and as far as the potential of the rifle, our two best groups. All right, so that first 5-shot group that we fired, it measured 3 inches, 21 thousandths, which puts it at 0.64 MOA, well under 3/4. That's not below our half MOA, but it's awful close. And honestly, I'm pretty impressed with that. And I'm also very confident it's going to do better. Okay, our second 5-shot group, it measured 3 inches, 57 thousandths. That puts it at 0.71 MOA. Get this issue with the rest resolved, and I'm confident right now in saying that it's going to be a sub 3/4 MOA rifle at 500 yards. Now I've just got to sort out a few little details, and I'm confident we're going to get it under half an MOA. All right. But I'm going to have to put this project on hold for a little bit. I guess we've been on this project for 2 months now. Okay, and I've got a lot of projects on hold at the moment, which that's why I really hate putting this one on hold. But after 8 weeks on a rifle, I've got other stuff I got to get done. Okay, now for the shop and the drawers. I've never been happy with the drawers I put in this cabinet. Never been satisfied with them. I just finally made the decision to demo what I had, and I'm completely redoing them, starting from scratch. What this is going to do is this is going to let me get set up. I'm going to be much better organized here in the shop. It's going to give me more storage space. And for that stock that we're going to start on end of June, 1st of July, it's going to give me a place to store all my woodworking tools, and I'm going to have to get a few extra tools for that project. I want to do more on the working on stocks and making stocks, and maybe 1 or 2 a year. But that's extra tools, specialty tools that I don't already have, not many at all, but I've got to organize all that stuff. I've got to be able to organize the checkering tools if I'm going to be doing that on a regular basis. And then this will also help me organize my shooting stuff a lot better. And that's something, over time we change. I mean, we add new tools, we learn new skills, we do new things. Well, if we're constantly changing, that means we got to constantly be organizing. And something I used to do is every time I made a project or worked on a project for myself that I enjoyed, that I just wanted to do, when I finished that project, then I would do a project for the shop here or for the house, something that needed to be done, something that's going to help keep me organized. All right, well, we've been on the 1885 project for 2 months. That was a fun project. Now I got to do a project for the shop here. I got to get back in that habit. And especially as much shooting as I've been doing over the past few years, adding new rifles and cartridges and so forth, I've got to change how I organize my shooting supplies and just the shop in general. Okay, so right now I'm probably going to take a couple of weeks off. I've got some work here I got to get knocked out. And I've got a second channel that I started. It's Living Simple with Tom. I put up a video when I can on there. It's everything except for shooting. I'm not even going to get into the YouTube stuff right now and the reasoning for that, but that's what that channel is. It's Living Simple, whereas this channel has basically turned into a shooting channel, a firearms channel. Okay, well, and that's fine. We'll talk more about that later. But if any of you are interested in the non-firearms and the projects like building shop drawers and maybe even a lot of politics, check out my other channel, Living Simple with Tom. And I've got a link below as far as on my main channel page. That you'll see that on a desktop. At the very bottom there's a link to that channel. So okay, I'm going to get to work now because I got a lot of work to do, and I will get back with y'all in a couple of weeks. God bless and have a great day.